Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to SoulSpeak Visions. Today I wanted to keep the message really short and simple and to the point. That message, my friends, is to love yourself, to invest in yourself, to trust yourself, to offer yourself peace and compassion, understanding, the chance to grow and live in true potential through whatever means you desire, because it's your life and it's your path, and no one can do it better than you, and there's no one like you. And that's what makes one's experience so beautiful and real, is because that's your experience. Your unique potential is realized through your own choices and thoughts and decisions and actions moving forward, and that's all up to you, and there's no right or wrong moves, only what is. So if you feel in your heart that you need to change your course at any time or your path, you have every right and opportunity to do so. You can make the conscious choice at any time to change. I believe that by loving yourself, you offer yourself a golden opportunity to change and to live in your own potential and to live your own life and to discover yourself time and time again and recreate yourself in all kinds of new light and shades and different colors, and speaking metaphorically, just altering the terrain of your life and the landscape of your experience, so that you don't get too bored, because there's never an excuse to be bored in a life that's so marvelous and all beholding as this life. And we often have patterns of self-deprecating thought mechanisms that they tell us that you set yourself up to this standard of illusion and wanting to be something outside of yourself that you're clearly not. Brian's biggest hurdle was Brian. Speaking personally, my biggest hurdle was myself, along the path of self-discovery through everything that I went through, and to eventually coming to terms with my spirit and my soul, and growing and evolving in all areas that I could, and I'm still, it's a process, guys. It's a process of growing and losing and learning, and heartbreak and disappointment and immeasurable joy and happiness and contentment. But one thing stands, and that is that if you love yourself, by loving yourself, you are allowing yourself the opportunity to open up your mind and your heart to the overflowing compassion and the positivity that's in the world, and the good energies out there, and the chances to learn more about yourself and to learn more about others, and to truly listen to the heart of others, and to understand them, and to really see them at their best when they're in their passionate lifestyles, and to be happy for others and to love others. I feel like loving yourself is kind of a prerequisite to loving others, if you're speaking about it in that sort of manner. I know for sure that it took loving myself to truly understand what loving someone else could really feel like, and to really have an actual feeling, a real true emotional connection with family and friends, and to be able to offer my soul and to connect spiritually and emotionally and mentally. And it's a wonderful thing. None of this would have been possible without loving myself. And I'm just here, I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm just here to, to tell you that, loving yourself is something that I think it's difficult, and, it's not always possible, and it's not always your time. And sometimes you revisit your old self-deprecating, self-doubting ways, and, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem growing up. Sometimes I still don't, I always felt like there was an invisible standard that I was predisposed to, and I was setting myself up for failure with everything I ever tried to do. And, but all of that was in my head, and that was just sort of an illusion that I created for myself. And you could say maybe that motivated me, but at the time it just sort of brought me down. Loving myself was all the motivation I really needed, and I found that in my own time. And I'm never going to tell anyone else what to do with their lives, because, I don't have, that's not my place to do such a thing. But I will say, if there's a way to love yourself, I would maybe recommend it, or just, allow yourself the opportunity to really listen to yourself and to get in contact with your soul and your spirit, and, to not be so tough on yourself and cut yourself some slack. The imperfections of life, and the blemishes and what we perceive to be failures, undoubtedly those are the realest aspects of life, and that is what makes life itself. It's not meant to be perfect. It never was. And, you're perfectly imperfect as yourself, and it's all you ever could be, and to love yourself is to respect yourself, but more importantly, to accept yourself and to understand who you are, the good and the bad, the pretty and the ugly, and to every aspect of your soul and your being and your ego and all these little parts of, what make up your psyche and your soul. That's beautiful as it is, and that's you, and it could only ever be you. And, you never want to compare yourself to anything outside of who you are, and or at least I don't anymore. I used to, and that created a lot of, personal heartache, and, who needs that, when you have a unique potential to create a life for yourself and to really get to know yourself, and by doing that, you're loving yourself every moment, and the process itself is you're unveiling the love that has always been there and the light that has always been there, and you're realizing that you can love yourself even greater. And, this is not to say that you should treat yourself like you're the only person in the world or anything like that. Acknowledge, your flaws and your mistakes, but learn from them, and, you love others to a fuller extent by loving yourself, I think. So today's message is just to love yourself and to listen to yourself and to trust yourself and to be good to yourself, and in whatever way, whatever path that you take, it's right for you. And I am so excited that, I've learned to love myself, and it's created a sort of a happier life for me. And SoulSpeak Visions wouldn't be, in the realm of possibility without first learning to love myself and trust myself, and, gaining the confidence to, speak on things that I've always thought about, That's it for today, guys. Just a simple, short message, a daily reminder to love yourself. Thank you for tuning in to SoulSpeak Visions. Brian here. Peace, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful new year,